Alright, today we are going to do a coolant flush on our 2005 Toyota Camry 4-cylinder. This right here is the product we're going to use. It's a Valvoline, it's a pink pre-mixed, it's already pre-diluted, so you don't add water. It is to Toyota specs. Looks just like the pink Toyota Super Long Life coolant. And so it seems like a good product. We've successfully used it before. And we're going to get rid of that generic yellow-green stuff that's in the car now. That's the idea. We're going to flush that junk out of there. So the steps that we're going to take to clean out the system is we're going to undo the upper radiator hose. And on the lower hose, the thermostat housing is actually really easy to get to. So in some vehicles, you can just drain the radiator, fill it with water, run it for a while till it gets hot and the thermostat opens and it flows and flushes out the old coolant. But in this case, the thermostat is so easy to get to, we're just going to pull the housing and remove the thermostat, and we can do a really quick, easy flush. Don't even need to run the car. So, and yeah, we will start by draining the radiator, which is right down at the bottom, roughly about the middle, and yeah, we'll start there to get rid of some coolant. Alright, so we're going to open up that drain and run down into our coolant pan. There we go. Alright, so we got our coolant draining. I hooked up a hose, like a little extension, to the bottom of the drain just to try to keep it neat and clean. I believe that hose is a 3/16. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just kind of dug through my stash and found one that worked. And also be careful, because the coolant can spray out if there's pressure in the system. But after some coolant's drained out and you've released pressure, you can take off the cap, and that'll help let the coolant flow out of the drain. Alright, so next thing is I'm going to take off the thermostat housing, which has two 10mm nuts on it. And so I'm using my ratchet with an extension. And be careful, because if you've been running the car recently at all, like we have, the exhaust is still going to be pretty hot. Don't burn yourself. Be careful on this lower one and don't strip it out. It is kind of tight to align the ratchet with the nut. Alright, put that in a safe place. And I have my drain pan repositioned under here. Oh, there you go. Coolant's gushing out already. Whoa. There you go. I'm just pulling back the housing kind of slowly so that the coolant doesn't come gushing out too fast and make a big, huge mess. There we go. So, just set the housing on the side. Make sure your exhaust isn't too hot, don't melt your housing. Alright, there's the thermostat. Basically kind of just fell right out. The next thing I'm going to do is remove the upper radiator hose from the radiator, but there's this little air inlet that's in the way, so I'm just going to take out the two 10mm bolts there. So I'm just going to take the old flat screwdriver and loosen this worm clamp that for some reason they put in place of the original clamp, unfortunately. Okay. Slide that back and get the hose off of there. Be careful if you have a wire strapped to your hose like this car does. Don't yank on any electrical wires. Okay, so now we got our hose in position where we can run some water in there and flush it all out. So I know there's, people are going to say that we should be using distilled water, but I just want to get rid of the bad coolant, and I'm just going to use good old tap water. So I got the hose shoved in there. I'm going to turn it on, and you'll see the coolant flushing out the bottom here, or the thermostat spot. Oh, there it goes. And once you see it all clear, then you can shut it off. Alright, so the last part, I'm just washing off. A lot of the coolant actually settled into the side of the engine block, so I'm just rinsing that off. Because the thing about coolant is it doesn't evaporate, or with the heat from the exhaust it'll burn and it'll smell bad. So I'm going to wash it all off. Alright, this should do it. So now we're going to put it all back together before we go and refill the system. Make sure your thermostat's facing the correct way. This one doesn't have a little jiggle pin which normally goes at the top, but so we're just going to set it in there facing out, and then we'll put the housing over it. Carefully thread these nuts on. They're very small, you don't want to drop them. The bottom one might be a little tricky. You can, sometimes 2 hands are helpful to keep yourself from dropping it. And then we just gotta pop our upper hose back into position. And we'll slide the clamp back. Tighten that down. This worm type of clamp, of course, is used as a screwdriver. If you have the original, well, or a hex head, I think it's an 8mm on this particular one. If you have the original clamp, having these type of hose clamp pliers is very useful. But I can't show you how that works because we don't have those clamps anymore. Alright, that should be good there. And then we'll put the little bolts back in and hold the air inlet. Since we're tightening on a plastic, I don't want to use the power tool. Could split the plastic. I'm just going to do it by hand. Okay. And now we'll go ahead and refill it and bleed out any air. See, I gotta get my easy fill funnel. So one last thing to get rid of all this old nasty coolant is we're gonna dump out the reservoir. It just slides up and out on the Camry, no tools required. So we'll dump this into our pan, rinse it out, and we'll be ready to fill it with the proper coolant. Now our clean bottle, just gonna slide back into position. We'll leave the cap off because of course we gotta fill it with some reserve coolant. And next we gotta get our funnel ready to fill up the system. This is the spill-free funnel. These are really useful if you don't have one and you plan on servicing your vehicles yourself. It's really good to have. It comes with various adapters for popular applications. This is the Honda Toyota one. Probably works for other Asian cars too. And so once you put the adapter on the same way you put a radiator cap on, you just stick the funnel, it just wedges down in there. And this is the plug for at the end. We will plug it, and any excess coolant can then be removed without spilling all over the place. Alright, so that's later. He's full though. Alright, so we'll let that go down.
Alright, once you're done filling up your coolant, you run it until it's hot, the radiator fan comes on. Once you're done, then you want to top off your reservoir, and that's it.